Jitters! Oh my goodness, guys, I have a flexi video for you guys today. I want to introduce you guys to Josh. Josh dominated his locals with some Drytrons. Slapped in some Megalith. You guys know we love our Megatron, my favorite variant of Megalith Drytron. And Josh has been rocking his locals. Josh, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm so happy to interview you, man. Josh has always been in my comment section. Josh has been drop kicking like button after like buttons. I'm just happy to interview this guy. When Josh shared about his last victory in his locals with my favorite deck, I was like, yeah, dude, there's no way you ain't coming on the channel for an interview. Josh, tell us a little about this deck, man. Why do you love this deck? What has this deck been doing for you so good?
Yeah, well, with this deck, I find it's very good at kind of shutting down the opponent's game plan. Whether you're using Artifact Scythe to lock the meta summons, or the Barrier Statue of the Drought, your opponent a lot of times they just don't have the tools to deal with it. Even going second or going game 3 and beyond, we have tools for that as well. And I'm super happy to bring this deck to you guys and kind of share my thoughts about it.
Of course, man, of course. Typical Megalith deck. Megalith doesn't allow your opponent to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You start with an amazing 6 negate, 6 disruption board, crazy as can be, and you break boards going second. And this is what's crazy about this deck. But man, before we dive, then again, we're going to talk a little, because that barrier statue, I want to talk about that barrier statue. It's a little different. Before we dive into the deck profile, let's know a little about your locals, because I think when we spoke, a few of your local guys, I think they robbed a bank, because these guys' decks are so expensive. It's safe to assume a bank was robbed.
We got some copies of Droplets and Ice Dragon's Prison and stuff floating around. Your standard staples that people are paying out the nose for. But sometimes it only takes a budget deck to fight back against that.
That's correct, man. David versus Goliath. We fight it back, guys. We fight it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your deck, because I saw some cards in there which really raised some eyebrows. But we have the deck list on the screen, so you can pretty much break down what you have in front of you, and I'll ask you certain questions based on certain cards you chose to play and ratios you chose to play. But the deck is still looking spicy. It is looking nice,
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, I think the first thing I got to cover is the card that I think we should probably be dropping from the list going forward, and that is the Psyframe Gear Gamma package, along with his buddy, the Psyframe Driver. They're bricky. They're fantastic going second. Like, you just stop your opponent's play, it's fine. But going first, it interferes so much with your Drytron activation condition, it's just really not worth the risk of locking yourself out of that for the turn. But moving on from them, for the Drytrons, I played 11 names, plus the searchers, the spell searchers, the Novas, and the emergencies. I wanted to maximize my chances of seeing at least 2 Drytron names. You never want to see any less. You can still make a board with, say, a Gamma and a Zeta. But you can't really make a board if you only drew 1 Drytron and like a handful of Megaliths. It doesn't work out so nicely then.
So, just a quick question. How does, can I notice, being that you said you playing a maximum, because I noticed you playing pretty much 3 copies of each of the names in terms of the monsters. How did that work for you?
I never found that I was clogging on like too many Drytron names and not enough other cards. And I, just about every game, 2 to 3 Drytron names, was able to do full combo just about every single time. For the Megaliths, I had to cut down the package just a little bit to make some room. We're still over 40 cards even with this build, but I just didn't have the heart to cut anything else, how it is sometimes. It's just, I need this for this reason. But I made sure.
Sorry for interrupting, but there's a quick here, guys. You need to take this into consideration? Because I know it's always been discussed that you have to play 40 cards. It's quite important to play 40 cards, especially for consistency matter. But this deck is quite consistent, very consistent. But one thing you have to take into perspective or into consideration is it's your deck, and sometimes the way it feels to play, it will play for somebody different. I may play a 40 card deck, and be like, why Josh played 45? But for him, it works. Because be mindful that there is a luck factor in Yugioh. We cannot, we cannot exclude that fact. There is a luck factor. And if 45 is working, if I'm playing a 45 card deck and I'm drawing all the pieces I want, why would I complain? It's working. So I'll be like, no, it's against the rules to play 45, to play 40. Like, nah, fam, that's not how it works. So if 45 is working, 41 is working, guys, you make it work. If it's working, it's working. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. That's the same, right?
Of course. But yeah, so the smaller Megalith package, I made sure I got all the important things. We got the Ophiel, so you can get your searches. Got the Haggiths, so you can set up your field spell plus your trap. The best part of the Megalith combo. Phallic was in there. Sometimes I found I just really needed to beat over something, and Phallic helped with that. And Beathor, of course, is that sweet removal. Pop your opponent's whole board. Too good, too good. Unfortunately, our friend Drytron didn't make the cut this time, but I don't know. I'm thinking of experimenting with him maybe going forward when I make some changes to the deck. But for now, he just didn't quite make the cut for me. The one copy of Unformed is a little bit unique. I found it didn't come up very often, to be honest. Actually, the main instance where it would have come up for me, I didn't have the exact levels, so it didn't end up helping me very much there. But it's highly searchable because of Haggith and Ophiel being able to find Haggith, so I thought it was fine to run as a one-of, just for that little bit of sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't.
I tend to play 3 copies of, despite what Megalith deck I play. My reason being, I tend to play more level 8s than you currently have, 4 being the least amount. Any level 18 automatically makes Unformed live. Unformed is like my favorite. I think, then again, I always say every Megalith card is my favorite card in the deck. But Unformed is just so good. It's a quick play ritual from the deck. You cannot go wrong with Unformed. And the reason I will be always playing so many copies, despite the variant of Megalith. But that's just me. You won a whole tournament with playing 1. That should say something.
Yeah, if I was playing probably a bigger Megalith package, we would definitely be seeing the full 3 of.
Yeah, agreed.
But moving on from there to some of our other things, I've got an artifact package there with the Scythe and the Lancia. The Scythe is one of our main lockdown pieces, along with the Barrier Statue. Typically, we try to set up one of those on turn 1 going first so that our opponent can't really do anything. The Lancia is there. I main deck that because Ben 10 searches it, and there's a lot of decks at my locals. We're talking like Virtual Worlds, Sword Soul, just all kinds of things that want to banish cards. We got a Dino player, Scrap Dino, and Lancia just says no to all of what they're trying to do. We also got, I only play 1 Manju. He's a little lonely in there. I'm going to bump him up for sure when the Psy-frames come out. He's something that you search off of Ben 10, so that I found that I typically didn't need to draw into him when I was trying to just establish the main lock combo anyway.
Yeah, I thought that you only played 1 copy of Manju, being that it's such an important searcher. Can search you both a ritual spell and ritual monster. So I'm like, wow, one copy. I wanted to find out the story behind that 1 copy.
I see. Pretty much I mostly use it in the combo line and search it off of Ben 10. I didn't think I needed to run it up more than 1. I did find when I had 3 copies, I would often draw hands where I had 1 or 2 Manjus in them, and not enough Drytron names, and so that was one of my considerations on lowering the number.
Okay. So the deck pretty much just emphasizes on getting these Drytron names in your hand, which is the most important. Drytron gets you to Ben 10, Ben 10 gets you to Manju. Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Lastly, for our main deck here, we have a couple of consistency boosters. We have the 2 Preparation of Rites. We have the 2 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. This does lock you out of Scythe, and this is another card that can totally be replaced if anybody wants to try the deck. But the one time I did have to use it to establish a board, it worked. So I'm not really sure. I guess I found it worked for me, but it might not work for you. It's just better than not making any board on turn 1, I guess. Lastly, sorry.
And I clearly understand. We discussed this a little before this interview. And I gave my personal opinion. I don't really like the card, to be honest. The fact that the side effects are just way too much, half your life points, and you are unable to set. Man, not setting an emergence in a Megalith combo for me is like a no-no, being the fact that the recursions you can do with Megalith because of this is so much. But I do understand, like you said, it's better to have a play than no play itself. So it's a possibility. I guess just in the fact it happen, which I guess would be very rare to break, it's something you can go into, which, insurance, it's assurance. It's always good. It's always good. Like I said, it won't work for everybody, but it can work. So it is there, it's an option, and I respect that. Definitely. But there's a quick option. Preparation of Rites at 2. Yeah, that bubbled me. Why, man? Why Preparation of Rites at 2?
That one, I think, was genuinely one of my big mistakes going into the event, not playing 3 prep. It's so good. It was just another consideration. I was up around 50 cards before the day before the tournament. I had a 50 card list sitting in front of me, and I just said, you know what, I need to cut some things out of this. I need to get down closer to 40. I'm putting in more Drytrons to be more consistent, so I need to try and cut the number of cards down too to help that. And that was just one of the things that ended up getting the axe, unfortunately. But like I said, definitely a mistake. Extra Foolishes are coming out. Prep's going back up. Manju's going back up. But it is what it is. It worked.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you came out in that W, came out in that first place. That's what matters, right?
Yeah.
So that's all good. That's all good, man. All right. What else we working with, man?
Right. Last main deck card here, we have Foolish Burial, and that's just like another Drytron name, really. You put your Gamma in the graveyard, you put whatever in the graveyard. You need that alpha on turn 1, it's in the graveyard now.
Yep. Great. How does the extra deck look? What's we working with in the extra deck?
Alright, so for the extra deck, we have the 2 Herald of the Arclight. Those are my targets for the extra Foolish Burials. They will probably be swapped out for some Links or some more Xyz plays later, when the extra Foolishes come out. It's very hard to summon them in this deck without Halka-Fibrax to summon one of the Cyphering Gear Gammas, so it's just kind of a wasted slot. It can be cut. However, what can't be cut is the Xyz package. We have the 2 Drytron Mu Beta Fafnirs. The deck is totally playable with 1. He is a little bit pricey right now, but if you have 2, it improves consistency a lot. So it's worth running the 2 if you have them or have access to them. It's like your most important extra deck play, honestly. Before you go into your Apollosa and stuff, you need it for the materials. Tornado Dragon is in there. He's our budget DPE replacement. Yeah, Tornado Dragon, Pop Scythe, didn't get touched on the ban list. I'm so happy about it. Well, maybe not happy about Scythe not getting touched, I guess, but at least our deck can still power through and Scythe block people.
You could still play a deck, yeah. A lot of budgeters would have shared that same sentiment, unfortunately. we Scythe still in the game. Well,
yeah.
Verte got hit, so yeah. Verte was now budget. But I'm so excited. My apologies, guys, if you guys rocked Verte or got your Verte. My apologies, but Verte is out of the game makes it so much easier for us budgeters to play. Because when we finally interact with the opponent, we do scale down the board, the option to go into Verte, into DPE or Dragon is no longer. So that threat is out of it. For that reason, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. So I again apologize if it hurt your heart. But man, trust me, it's a win for us budget players. Trust me.
Is it ever? Next up in the extract, we have Gal Granite. He is our searcher for our barrier statue, as well as for a level 4 Megalith if you happen to need him. It doesn't come up very often. I usually would find myself going into him in hands where I opened just a lot of Megaliths, very few Drytrons. It didn't come up at the tournament. I should point that out. It was in testing. But sometimes, yeah, you just draw a Megalith hand, you need to go into barrier statue instead of Scythe.
I was like, I wanted to ask a little about it. Yeah, I know Granted definitely gives the search, but man, I never expected barrier statue rocking in the Megalith, but it works. At least this can hold on the opponent for at least 1 turn, 2 turns, make you build up on the deck and resources. I like the tech. I like the tech.
Thank you. I'm glad. Next for our extract, we have one of our combo pieces for doing our full board setup. We have the Constellar Ptolemy M7. I think he's better here than he is in the Constellar deck almost, honestly. That recursion is too good. Or removal. He just has options. It's really good. Beatrice, of course, the BA classic that Drytron has stolen and will hold on to for a long time. She's just really good. I never run Drytron without her. She mills cards. She mills your dries. You need it. The weirdest one for the Xyz lineup that's still in the deck, now maybe not if you were playing some more level 8s, but for me anyway, is Dingirsu, Orchestra of the Evening Star. He's another one of those cards that mostly comes up with a heavy Megalith hand. Usually when you get a Fool to recur one of the level 8s, where you end up summoning that level 8, you can go into a Ding after you do your Beathor pop, or after you attack with your Phallic board, just to protect the things that you have out. Didn't come up for me in the tournament, but I just like packing the one, just in case. And that leaves the Link monsters. We're running our one of Linkuriboh. That's our classic. Any deck with level 1s, you want the Linkuriboh. I would also like a Relinquished Anima, but just haven't been able to get one yet. That's definitely up there on the pickup list, though. It's just really good removal. We got Artifact Dagda to search out Scythe or Lancia. Sometimes your Ben 10 gets negated or banished, even worse, and you just gotta go into the Dagda to get the Scythe out. Kinda glad that one dodged the ban list. It does help with this deck quite a lot. But yeah, I guess without Verte, it's not as much of a threat.
Exactly. There won't be this DPE. So I guess we no longer have to call Tornado Dragon a budget Verte, because we won't be seeing much Verte Dagda combos.
No, so, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I guess Drytron may be leading the pack with the Scythe combos. And I think Pendulum can pop. Yeah, they can also.
Yeah. Hero also, because they can just naturally play the DP, of course. Well, not looking forward to that. We do have a hero player, and I'm waiting. I'm hoping that I'll be Scythe locking him instead of the other way around.
Yeah. But the good thing is heroes lock themselves into heroes so early, unless they hard draw into Scythe. From my understanding of the deck, it's been quite a while I've played the hero. Hero cards are budget now, fairly cheap. I might be featuring them soon. I don't know. I like Darklaw, not heroes. I just like Darklaw. But let's
Darklaw is great.
Yeah, Darklaw is great.
A little bit of a tangent. I used to run Mask Change 2 in just about everything so I could summon Darklaw.
Yeah, because the card is just
But,
so good. Why not? The card is just so good.
Yeah, I mean, Macrocosmos for just your opponent. Seems pretty solid to me.
Yeah, walking Macrocosmos, and also has that search effect. Your opponent searches, hit the card from the hand. Oh my goodness. Man, the card is just good. I love that card.
So good. But yeah, so the last of our links, we have our little IP Masquerena package here. We have IP Masquerena, of course, for that sweet quick effect link summon and protection. We've got the Nightmare Unicorn to go into for disruption, or the Mekhanite Crusadia Avermax for the beatdown. Summoning either one of these off IP is just absolutely phenomenal. Avermax is a house. Unicorn is just fantastic removal. Any deck where I can make room for some generic links, I like to include this little package. I absolutely love it. And that just leaves our big girl, the bow of the goddess herself, Apollosa. And she's just so important, guys. She's basically a floodgate without being a continuous trap. Like, your opponents, unless they open like the droplets or the Dark Ruler, they're not getting over this Apollosa, usually with our full combo anyway.
I love the deck, man. I love the build. I love the build. But the side deck is looking hungry. I love the cards in the side deck. Tell us about the side deck.
Alright, so for my side deck, I basically teched for very specific matchups with the side deck, with the exceptions of Lava Golem, which this is a little tech we got from our fellow budgeter Quentin. If your deck doesn't care about normal summon, run this boy. He is too good.
Right, big shout out to Quentin. Hope you guys remember Quentin from our last 10E video. He also dominated his locals with a budget 10E. That interview will be linked somewhere in the graph. Somewhere. Check it out.
But yeah, Lava Golem, a lot of boards just end on 2 monsters. If you're playing against an old school player, a more old school player, say, playing some kind of Mystic Mind shenanigans, what are they going to have, like a Dragoon or something? Bam, Lava Golem on that shit. Oh, I just swore, I'm so sorry. Just Lava Golem it. The DD player that we have at our locals, oftentimes he'll end on a Deus Ex Machinax and, say, the Spell Trap Negator. Drop a Lava Golem on that. Problem solved. Even Sword Soul. They got a Baron, they got a Chichao. Now they don't.
Yeah, Sword Souls always end with a Chichao Baron. Always, man.
Yeah,
With
this is just
set blackout. So you're really like out in the fire, because I'm giving you a Lava Golem to burn you and you have a useless blackout in the field. I'm feeling...
Yeah, exactly. It really messes up their game plan. After the Lava Golems, we play Triple Ghost Ogre. These are a tech specifically for the Adventure Engine, but it does tend to help, honestly. Before Verte was banned, it was really useful for just getting rid of your opponent's stray materials during their combo. A lot of times they just wouldn't be able to finish because they needed that extra body. Very, very useful card. Also, any deck that happens to run continuous spells and traps to do anything, yeah, they hate Ghost Ogre. With a passion. After that, we've got, of course, Triple Twin Twisters. That's for our matchups like Eldritch or Dynamorphia. Dynamorphia, especially, we have a player at our locals who loves that deck, and it is incredibly good. So we tech for that hardcore. That's also the reason we run the main deck, Meteonis Quadrantids, just for these back row decks. Get them out of here. We don't want to deal with those traps.
Dynamorphias are going to be like one card, literally is a half skill drain on legs, one from one card. And there's so many ways to get access to that one card. Yeah, that deck has some good potential, man.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know if it's like the next Eldritch or anything, but it's really good as trap decks go.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been playtesting it, and I'm really been enjoying it. I'm so happy that the prices got really well. The Dimension Force was released, so now we have the actual release prices, and they're not bad. If you want to play the deck, you I think you could play the deck under $100 for sure, and it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, I have a friend who's really excited about those new cards.
Yeah, Rex and Frenzy. Crazy. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but speaking of trap cards, that'll bring us to our last couple of selections here. Are 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence and 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. The Imperms are for matchups where I know I'm going to be going second, and you just need more disruption. In come the Imperms, in come the Ghost Ogres. I personally cut out things like my Scythe and my Barrier Statue because they're a lot less effective going second. But yeah, you just need that disruption. It's there in the side deck. And Dimensional Barrier, that is a funny tech for one player in particular, I guess you could say. But it does come up more often than I first gave it credit for. Very good against things like Virtual World or BA. Very, very, very good against Branded Despia, which is the new deck to beat. And it's even powerful against DDDs, despite them using all the mechanics. If you stop them from fusion summoning early, there's not a lot they seem to be able to do after that.
Yeah, this is a really good extra deck. Sorry, side card. Very good. I think I've even seen builds main deck in the card, and I guess it always depends on your scene. It depends on your scene. If it fits in the deck, doesn't affect your deck. Your scene is abusing some form of summon mechanic. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it, man. You disabling your opponent for an entire turn. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just a house of a card.
Correct. That's correct, man. And I must say, I love the deck. I hope you guys enjoy the deck. I hope you guys learned so much from this specific build.
Hey budgeters, Josh here, back to do some quick shoutouts before we wrap things up. Firstly, a huge shoutout goes to all my friends from locals. You guys really helped rekindle my love for this game, and I'll never forget that. Second, I want to thank Yu-Gi-Oh! Budget Duelist for giving me the opportunity to be part of this video. It means the world to me to come on here and talk to him and share my thoughts on the deck with all of you guys. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what Budget Duelist has cooked up for the future. And last but not least, huge shout out goes to all of you guys at home. You can dropkick the meta, even with the budget brew. You just gotta stick with it, guys. Alright, peace.